The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The reviews on the minister's law before he pulls the comments down offline. The Globe and Mail called the minister's performance amateur hour on C10. Open Media has said the Prime Minister and this minister have lost the plot with this law. Michael Geist, the leading expert, said Bill C10 represents an unconscionable attack on free expression. When is this government and that minister going to listen to Canadians and scrap Bill C10?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our artists are amongst the Canadians who've been hit the hardest by the pandemic. They're suffering financially and mentally. C10 brought them the hope that things would get better soon, with the promise of forcing web giants to invest in our stories and music. Now the Conservatives are stalling C10, siding with web giants against Canadian artists who are deprived of hundreds of millions of dollars. Mr. Speaker, why is the Conservative Party siding with Google, one of the wealthiest companies in the world, instead of Canadian musicians and artists?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It's clear the minister doesn't even understand his own bill. If the CRTC can regulate what you see on your YouTube or Instagram feed, they can control what you see and what you learn about any given topic. Last year, that minister mused about licensing media companies. Now he's giving the government the ability to dictate which videos Canadians can see online. This bill is a direct attack on free speech. When is this minister going to drop his talking points, listen to Canadians, and scrap C10?
Honourable Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, maybe the Leader of the Opposition should actually read the bill, because Section 2.1 of the bill states that individuals who upload content on social media platforms such as Facebook or TikTok aren't considered broadcasters. This means, Mr. Speaker, that you and I can't be regulated by the CRTC. We've kept that clause. Again, Mr. Speaker, maybe the Leader of the Opposition should actually read the bill before he starts making statements on it.
What the Conservative fails to mention back is that, yes, okay, I'm not a broadcaster, but he's calling now YouTube a broadcaster, even though they're just a platform. Just a platform. So what happens is your content is subject to YouTube as being a broadcaster, which it never was before. See, he's just playing with words.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
No, Mr. Speaker. The advice on vaccines this week have not been clear from the federal governments. The confusing communications regarding vaccines that the federal government has presided over can't be allowed to continue. And the person who has the responsibility to make sure this happens is the Minister of Health. So can she acknowledge that there's a problem and tell us what action she has taken or will be taking to correct deficiencies and better coordinate public communications between NACI, PHAC, Health Canada, her and her office, and the Cabinet?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me be perfectly clear. Vaccines are indeed saving lives and stopping the spread of COVID-19. That is a goal that I think every member in this House would agree is an important one and that we're all striving for. I will repeat again, it is important that Canadians accept the first vaccine that's offered to them. If Canadians are questioning if vaccination is right for them, the best place to get credible information is from their healthcare provider or from a government website at the provincial, the federal, or at the municipal level. There are many players working to vaccinate Canadians. I would encourage all members in this House to get vaccinated when it's their term and to encourage their constituents to do so as well.
Mr. Speaker, the Globe and Mail said that it was amateur hour regarding C10, and Open Media said that the Prime Minister had lost the plot with this bill. Michael Geist said that this is an attack on freedom of expression. This bill is a threat to the freedom of Canadians. When will this Liberal government revoke Bill C10? The Honourable Minister.
L'Honourable Ministre.
The Honourable Minister.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Pardon, petit problème technique.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry, I had a slight technical problem. Our artists are among the most severely affected by the pandemic in Canada. They are suffering psychologically and financially. C10 gives them the hope that things will improve by forcing web giants to invest in Canadian and Quebec stories and music. The Conservatives are blocking C10, which means they are taking the side of web giants against Canadian creators, who are losing hundreds of millions of dollars due to this. Why are the Conservatives taking the side of the richest companies on the planet?
Forcing us to see certain things. I think they should have more grants to help YouTubers and other people spread so we can compete and beat the others around the world. Like, subscribe and comment. Have a good day.
Honourable Member for Bow River, I believe you're on mute.
There we go, Mr. Speaker. Since 1960, Prime Minister John Diefenbaker's Bill of Rights has entrenched fundamental freedoms for Canadians, including freedom of speech. Over 60 years later, the Liberal Party aims to muzzle Canadians' freedom of expression on the new public square, that is the internet. Technology evolves, but freedoms must stand. Why in 2021 do the Liberals want to limit Canadians' freedom of speech? And Mr. Minister, I have read the bill, and I know the difference between a person and content. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the member opposite, who's a member of the Heritage Committee, should know that it's Section 2.1 of the bill says that individuals who upload content from social media platform aren't considered broadcasters. And he also knows that Section 2.3 states that the act shall be construed and applied in a manner that is consistent with the freedom of expression and journalistic, creative, and programming independence enjoyed by broadcasting undertakings. He knows that full well, and he's just trying to mislead Canadians, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Medicine Hat, Carson Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Recently, I asked this government how much debt interest would cost when rates rise by 2%. The same stress test that new home buyers have to be faced with. The Bank of Canada has announced that interest rates will be rising. So, $40 billion a year is being spent on interest rates. The government has already put critical infrastructure systems at risk because of it. Why does the minister not have a credible plan to manage debt and ensure that things like infrastructure, security and safety, clean drinking water, and our healthcare systems are sustainable for the long term?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I direct the Honourable Member to Annex 3 of the budget, which lays out in specific detail the debt management strategy of the government. I'd point in particular to the fact that by fiscal year 2022-23, we actually anticipate the raw debt servicing charges for Canada will be $1.2